Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another edition of the DC Capstone Report. This week is the game against Georgia Bulldogs in Athens, Georgia at Sanford Stadium. Alabama goes on the road for a night game at 6:30 under the lights there, and I understand Georgia's going to have a blackout, which that didn't do well for them last time they had a blackout for Alabama. But they've decided to have a blackout, all wearing black for this game. So it's a big game this week. So I want to thank everyone for tuning in and listening to our podcast. Especially want to thank Lance Shores and all he does for this podcast. He does a great job of being in the studio, producing, and getting things together each and every week. I want to thank our sponsors, Lance's sites, RollTideBama.com and FreelancePictures.com. If you want to see some great Alabama football content, if you have people in the Majorettes or the Crimson Nets or the band or football team you'd like to see pictures, he has some great pictures up on his sites of the past games at Bryant-Denny Stadium. So be sure to check out Lance's sites, RollTideBama.com, FreelancePictures.com. And as always, we're brought to you on the podcast by our sponsor, Karen Cottingham, Realtor, right here in Tuscaloosa with the Williams Group at Keller Williams. For all your real estate needs, contact Karen. If you want to buy a house, sell a house, now's the time to do it. She is the person to contact. She can work all throughout the state of Alabama, but particularly concentrating here in the West Alabama area in Tuscaloosa. Contact Karen Cottingham at 205-887-4008. Well, today on the podcast, we're going to take in our first segment, we're going to review the bye week. And number two, in the second segment, we're going to look at the preview of the Georgia game when we have the ball on offense. And then the third and final segment, we'll preview the Georgia game when they have the ball on our defense. Well, welcome back to the DC Capstone Report here on the podcast this week for Alabama football. In the first segment, we're going to take a review of the bye week. What did Alabama accomplish? Well, last week on the podcast, I said there were three things they needed to do. Get healthy, they need to clean up mistakes, and they need to concentrate on consistent execution. Well, let's see how they did. Getting healthy, I think we've already heard from the team that is something that took place. All the players were dialed in on getting some rest and getting healthy again. But mainly we have two of our starters we've been told will be back for this game. Tim Keenan, which has been a big piece of our defensive line puzzle, has been missing. He'll be back for this game from his injury. And Jam Miller, our running back, our starting running back, will be back from this game ready to play in this game as well. And I also think it's an opportunity for Jaden Roberts to get healthy on that offensive line to get in playing shape. So I believe that those three players in themselves getting back able to play healthy is going to really bode well for Alabama as they go on the road to play Georgia this week. I think having Tim Keenan back is a key because of his leadership and because of his plugging that middle and stopping the run. And I think Jam Miller is really, really critical in our running game as for running the ball, but also his pass blocking ability. Because I believe Georgia will have a chance to take an opportunity to try to sack, put pressure on Ty Simpson and get him to put him in some awkward positions and make mistakes. So I think that having those key three players back will be great. So I think the healthy thing was a really good benefit for the bye week. The second is I said they need to clean up mistakes, penalties, and I believe that they did that as well. They worked when they did have the opportunity on the off week to look at some film, see some of the mistakes and errors that they were making. The coach, as when they spoke yesterday, both coaches Grubb and Womack and DeBoer said that the players were dialed in and used the off week to look at mistakes and self-reflect, and I think that's really good. So I believe we'll see a cleaned up team in this game against Georgia. And then third, I said they need to focus on consistent execution. And from what I've been hearing from the coaches and the players, they're dialed in for this game, and they have been able in the off week to keep that consistent passion for the game even during the off week. And then what they've been doing over and over and over, doing the same things that they were doing, prepare for Wisconsin. They came out really well in that game. So I think that overall the bye week was very helpful. It was useful in getting people healthy. It was useful in cleaning up some of the mistakes. And it was useful in getting consistent execution on the minds of the players. So I believe that coming out of the bye week, we're probably in the best position we have been all season to play a game, healthy-wise, execution-wise, and mistake-free-wise. So I believe that goes well because we're going to go playing the best team we've played so far on our schedule, and that's the Georgia Bulldogs on Saturday night. Well, welcome back to the DC Capstone Report. As always, we want to thank you for listening. If you're listening out there, watching our podcast online, you can see us on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, on Spotify. Like our podcast, like our Facebook page, DC Capstone Report Facebook page. Like it, follow it, and share it out there so that all your friends will be able to listen to the podcast too. It's always amazing to me and Lance how many people tune in each and every week. We're here on the second segment. We're going to preview the Georgia game and the offense when we have the ball. Well, I think there's some keys to the game when we have the ball on offense. Number one key is we need to start fast. Whatever we do in this game, whenever we get the ball, we need to start fast. And by that I mean we need to score on the first possession to put Georgia, behind on the scoreboard. When you're in a hostile environment, I believe that starting fast is a way to keep the hostile environment in check. They're not screaming and hollering if you're scoring up 2 scores on a team at home. We did that over there. I think last time we played when they had a blackout over there, we blocked a punt, and then Derrick Henry just went wild running in, and we were up 14-0 before you knew it, and that took the crowd out of the game. So I think starting fast is a huge way to be able to win this ball game. The second thing I think is important is to show that we have the ability to go on the road and handle the crowd noise. We didn't do a good job last year, especially at Tennessee, and we didn't do a good job this year at Florida State. So I think that we need to be ready to go on the road and prove that we can play in a hostile environment on the road offensively. And what does that mean? It means the offensive line has to get the calls correctly on their blocking schemes. The communication has to be really remarkable up and down the offensive line. There needs to be also a snap count that everybody understands what it is, and the communication between the quarterback and the wide receivers needs to be stellar. And I think in this last game, although it was home, Ty Simpson did a great job of communicating with his wide receivers to give them the right plays and give them the right position. So can he do that on the road will be the second key in this ball game. The third key, I think, is be mistake-free football. Don't turn the ball over. Don't fumble the ball, and don't have any interceptions. So far, we've been good at that. And if we can maintain that mistake-free football in the turnover areas, that's going to go well. We need to take it a step farther and not make any stupid penalties, no stupid mistakes in this game as far as penalty-wise that would put us behind the chains or erase some good plays. So make sure that we can play well on offense without making mistakes. Next thing I think is going to be important is establishing a running game. Now, there's been a lot of criticism toward the running game in Alabama this year, but I believe it's been unwarranted. We've had our best run blocking guard not being able to play, and our best running back not be able to play. So I think we're back at full strength in this game, and I think you'll see our run game doing just that. Look for Ryan Grubb to call plays that stretch Georgia's perimeter. I would see some jet sweeps, some sweeps in this game by our Jeremy Bernard, who's going to line up some in the backfield. I think Jam Miller will have an opportunity to run the ball. But another thing is we've got some good experience for people like Kevin Riley and Richard Young and Daniel Hill and A.K. Deere and others in the backfield that have had an opportunity to carry the ball. So what we need to do is don't give up on the run, commit to the run, and run the ball. If any of y'all watched the Monday Night Football last night, Detroit committed to running the ball, and sometimes they didn't gain but 1 or 2 yards. But at the end of the night, both of their backs were over 100 yards last night because they continued to run the ball, and eventually they wore the other side down, and they broke off a 70-something yard run. So I think Alabama needs to continue to do that and stretch Georgia's defense sideline to sideline and make it a little soft up the middle as they try to cover those sides. And that way we'll have, in the fourth quarter, be able to run the ball on them. And I think by running the ball, it'll open up our passing ability. Now, I think the one thing that most people, when they face Alabama, looks for in our passing is to shut down Ryan Williams. But I don't think that's going to work this year if you just shut down Ryan Williams, because we have Jeremy Bernard, Isaiah Horton, other wide receivers that we can go to, tight ends, backs, and it looks like so far Ty Simpson has been able to put the ball where he needs to put the ball. Even in the game against Florida State, I don't think he played terribly. So on this opportunity for Ty Simpson to really get us in the right plays and get us in an opportunity to make some big explosive plays in the run game and in the passing game. If he does a good job of doing that in the hostile environment, I think Alabama comes out and plays really well offensively and well enough to win this game. Well, welcome back to the DC Capstone Report. This is our third and final segment today. We're going to look at the Georgia game preview, and we're going to look at our defense, what we need to do in this game against Georgia. Before we do that, I just want to thank our sponsors again, RollTideBama.com, FreelancePictures.com, and Karen Collingham Realtor right here in Tuscaloosa with the Williams Group at Keller Williams for all your real estate needs. Contact Karen at 205-887-4008. Well, back to the podcast on our third and final segment, defense. Now, this is where we're going to have to step up. I think the defense was exposed a little bit in the Florida State game and in other games last year that we can be run on. I believe Kane Womack confessed that as much this week when he said that we put enough things on tape that would give Georgia an opportunity to take advantage of that. If he already knows that, then I think that we're going to have to execute better on defense in this game. And I believe the number one thing is, just like it is on offense, we have to start fast. If they get the ball first, we need to hold them. Don't let them extend that drive and get them off the field in that first drive to be able to take the crowd out of the game. And I believe you do that by playing the run. Georgia is going to run the ball. Mike Bobo, the offense coordinator, is old school. He's going to run the ball, the play action pass to set up the pass. And he's going to use his quarterback to run the ball. His quarterback this year has had an opportunity to run the ball. He's and do very well at extending plays with his legs. So we're going to have to be able to contain the running game, including the quarterback in this game. I think that having Tim Keenan back for this game would go a long way in helping that. But Tim Keenan hadn't played a game all year, so he's not in game shape ready. So that means everybody that subbed for him at the beginning of the year is going to have to play in this game and going to have to play well. And we're going to have to be interchangeable on that defensive line in order to stop the run. If we can stop the run and we can put them in a passing situation behind the chains, then we're going to have to second thing we have to do is put pressure on the quarterback in passing situations, make him make mistakes. And if we do that, he's not very seasoned and not well seasoned in playing against SEC opponents. If we can put him in positions to make mistakes, then this could go south early for Georgia and really take the home field advantage away from them. I look for us to get a pick six in this game early on to set the tone. Our secondary has been really good, and if our linebackers edge rushers can put pressure on the quarterback, I think we have an opportunity to take some balls away in this game, both in the passing game. And so if our defense can do that, I really believe it puts us in a position to win this ball game. But we can't make any silly mistakes on defense. No more silly mistakes. And we cannot let them run at will. We have to play with consistent urgency to get to the ball. This swarm defense is going to have to show up in this game to get to the ball and get the tackler on the ground. Georgia has some grown men running the ball, some grown men on the offensive line blocking. And it is going to be a formidable task for us, but we can't let them dictate the game and the toughness of the game. We got to bring the toughness to them. And if that's something that we've been lacking, I think, on this defense. So this defense is going to have to step up after the bye week and bring the heat to the Georgia offense. And by that I mean some aggressive playing within themselves, positive aggression, so they can get to the ball, swarm the ball, and get the ball carrier on the ground. That's going to be critical in this game, in this game against Georgia. So on defense, our goal should be to keep them behind the chains, get them in third and long situations, and don't let them extend plays. Don't let them extend drives by letting the quarterback out of the pocket or leaving a wide receiver running wide open in the field. So if we can play tough defense in this game, hard-nosed defense in this game. I believe it's going to be a victory for Alabama. I think the way I see this game going is we go on the road. No one expects us to win. No one expects us to beat Georgia, especially after the way we laid an egg against Florida State in the first game. So I think the pressure is on Georgia in this game. And the reason I believe that is Georgia comes in with a 33-game home win streak. They've won 33 games in a row at home. And I think they're all got their fans punched up for a blackout because they felt like they should have beat Alabama last year at home. So they're going to be aggressive in this game, but I think that the pressure is on them in this game. And if we can ever get them down, I believe we'll see us go on to win this game if we can take that crowd out of the game. I don't think the pressure is on us because no one expects us to do anything. I don't think you'll find anybody picking us to win this game on game day. I don't think you'll find anybody picking us to win this game that's not close to the Alabama team. But I believe that Alabama goes into Georgia and uses this to right the ship for this season and beyond for the Kalen DeBoer era. I believe if we come out and we execute in all phases of the game, on offense and on defense, and Ty Simpson plays the way that he's played, and our defense turns the tables, steps up the aggression, steps up the toughness in this game, and really stands toe-to-toe with this Georgia offensive line and running backs, I believe we can do it. I think we get up early in this game, and it takes the crowd out, and then Georgia fights back late like they did at Tennessee. But I believe that we can have an opportunity to hold them off. I think Georgia, the Tennessee game, showed us that Georgia was susceptible to the long pass. So I believe that we can take advantage of that and get some explosive plays in here. So an interception and a long pass, and we might be up 14-0 before you know it. So I think that's what's going to happen. I think Alabama wins this ball game, and I'll be surprised if we don't play well coming off the bye week. I'll be surprised if we don't win this game. So I think Alabama wins this game, and I got it in a close one, but a close one late. Alabama gets ahead and holds on. I got Alabama 38, Georgia 31. Well, that's all this week for the DC Capstone Report. I want to thank all of you for listening in. Thank for Lance for everything he does back in the studio. We'll see if my prediction comes true. I hope it does. I believe this team is capable of going into Georgia and winning this game, riding the ship for this season and beyond. That's it this week for the DC Capstone Report. Until then, this is DC signing off with a big Roll Tide.